New Orleans is still looked at as this small place, even though we have influenced everything
Right.
from
Man, I gotta get to
jazz
that.
all the way to hip hop. But that's what it was. And back then, unfortunately, a lot of artists got shelved. Like, they might put a record out, but if the record is only distributed regionally and it's not like all over, it don't get a chance to catch the fire.
Put them on the shelf.
And then they'll shelf the next project. You know, it wasn't that they didn't deserve to be as big as all of the rap pioneers, because they are definitely New Orleans pioneers. But it's just one of them things, because even like, you know, myself, it took me a while to catch on in the rest of the world. The South is so big. I had the backing of the South to take me gold and platinum before the other coast, Midwest, East Coast, West Coast really started to catch on. And that's what happens a lot, you know.
But it seemed like, well, I'm gonna ask you first. Did at them times did people have the time like now you gotta grind? Like you ain't had that to be like, man, I'm about to give up on this and it ain't working. Like MEANA had a situation to where you got support out the gate. You already talk about that. Was that how it was for you? It was no like hard grind.
No, it was always hard for me, because even with me putting out my first records, I wasn't with nobody.
Right.
I didn't have
No
partners,
backing,
didn't have
no backing.
crews, didn't have nothing. So I physically, with DJ Cheese, my friend Jill, we had 2 double cassette players, and we was 1, 2, 3 record. That's how we was making my records. And then we had to go physically to every club in the city and hope the DJ let me sing my record. And then after you sing the record, I'm like, they got tapes in the back if y'all want tapes. Like, it was all leg work, all grind, with absolutely no money behind me. I didn't even have my picture on a cassette because I had nothing.
Right. So
like,
it was all talent. Once they heard it, it was it though. Once they heard
then
it.
I was fat. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't coming in with like no Coca-Cola bottle, nothing for the guys to look at. They had to simply listen to me. But I had nothing, like a black tape with a white X, and before that just a piece of white cardboard that we slipped the tape in and put saran wrap around it. My grind
out the mud.
Out the crawfish mud. No, I'm out the crawfish mud. That's a slimy, thicker mud.
Right.
I had absolutely no backing, like nothing, and we literally had to put the legwork in and go places, you know, in territories that was uncharted for me. Because, you know, when we were younger, meaning, you know, usually you stayed in the area that you were raised in.
Right.
Shit, I had to go to Newton's,
Yeah.
Detour, 49, Mr. B's. I had to go in them places and talk all of that shit that I was talking on the record. Don't know if somebody gonna punch me in the face.
Right.
But I had to do that.
When it was when you told Cheese, like, oh, we got this break. We in there. What day that was or what happened to make everything change from what you talking about right now, though?
I think when Payback dropped and when Payback was actually able to be pressed in a real tape, and the Chronic dropped on the lake, all you heard was Payback and the Chronic. And to see men not afraid to go in a record store and say, give me that girl. I don't know what her name. Mirror X, Maya X.
Mirror X.
Yeah, they call me everything. Give me that girl.
Yeah, that girl,
So seeing guys, because guys didn't really buy, you know, women's music. So to see guys buy me like my name was Doug or something, I knew that it was different. And then going and doing the concerts and seeing a movement created with the ladies and the men, the ladies being really proud that I had put a record out
to
like
answer.
that. Yeah, that's when I knew.
What brought the Payback? You know, what motivated you to write that?
Okay, so first of all, I fell in love with Bounce in Ghost Town when I saw Tucker and Irv. Irv spinning the 2 Trigger Mans back to back, and Tucker just chanting, and the girl, Mini Rat, she like on her elbows going across the bowl popping. It was just something It was amazing. And then there were records that came out after that where you just knew bounce was a good thing. But when, God bless the dead, Everlasting Hitman.
Yeah, a lot of people don't speak on him.
Everybody running around town.
Biting Tucker rap. All right.
See, when he came out.
Just don't know that I am the real nigga. And he was a dog. Like, yeah, people sleep on him.
His cadence.
That's what I remember, though, how we sleep on it.
I mean, like, it don't be talked about. Meaning, like, when people speak on bounce or founders or people from the beginning, you never hear Everlasting Hitman.
Yeah, right.
And he was dope. And you hear Juvenile, you hear Soldier Slim. Boy, that dude was.
He was
before.
Yeah, and his voice, his
style.
Voice, yeah. And on top of that, so he had lyrics. You know, I had always been a hip hop artist.
Right.
So he had all these bars. And you know, like young people, like y'all have no rap.
No rap cap.
Yeah. So cap now mean lie.
Right.
When we was coming up, cap meant to embarrass somebody. Right. If you cap on somebody, you gonna fight.
Yeah, you trying to shame.
Right.
When your mama holler your name in the middle of the block or in the store, she loud capping you.
Y'all loud
cap. I forgot about that. But
loud capping me. Don't loud cap me.
I heard that in a long time.
Right.
So he had all of these caps, meaning no lies, just coming at everybody. And it was funny, and it was lyrical, and it was new. But the way he was coming, it gave me the inspiration. I could do this because I rap, you know.
Right.
I wasn't really
chant. You wasn't no chant. Yeah, you wasn't no chant rapper. Yeah.
So I listened to him, and once he tell you about, you know, when I come on your set, it's best for you
to boot up trick.
You know,
right.
But then he go, come on. So I say, okay, what up, get up, boot up, come on, what up, get up, boot up. So that, you know, and I got an opportunity to just write this rap. And coming from hip hop, I didn't understand what bars was. So usually if I rapped off an instrumental, like I used to rap off Tila Rock, It's Yours all the time.
It's yours.
I knew to stop my rap right when he said it's yours, but I didn't understand what bars was. So during the payback, that record was 8 minutes long. I just loud capped for 8 minutes.
Right.
And you know, I owed that to Hitman. And I remember there was a bar around the St. Thomas. I can't remember what the name was because he was from St. Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally met him. And he was like, yay, you good. He was like, you like good. You know how to rap. He was like, you know, I know how to rap too. I'm like, I know. That's why
you motivated me.
Right. But yeah, it really came from Everlasting Hitman. He motivated the payback just like 1991 3-9 Posse motivated me to do Ask Them Niggas because they did Ask Them Hoes.
Right.
And MC Dart is such a prolific writer. Whenever I would hear people that was good, you know, because I came from battle rap. That's what we did, you know. It was like when we go to showbiz, whenever girl is in there, get them.
Got you.
And so that's what that was about. Yeah, so Ask Them Hoes and bounce baby bounce. That was the catalyst for me.
Right.
Like the whole big calm before the storm. That was the introduction to Mia X, because I was Polo B as an artist with New York Incorporated. My name was Polo B. And by the time I decided to make records, I didn't even have a name. I was like, so what am I call myself? And I didn't even know. So I was just like, well, I'll be Mia X because my rhymes was X-rated. And to the game,
I never knew that.
I never knew why. Me either. I never knew why the X how that came about.
I thought it was Malcolm X, like Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm X, Mia X.
But a little of that influence too, because you know my parents were real pro-black. I grew up in a freedom fighter household.
Right, for sure.
My parents was really seriously in the movement, you know. But yeah, shout out to 3-9 Posse. Shout out to Everlasting Hitman, because that was like the introduction.
So was there any money, like, you know what I'm saying, in those beginning stages of when you was coming out doing what you was doing, could you make a living off rap at that time?
No, I mean, okay, so with New York Incorporated, we would be making like $25 and $50, but you know, in '84,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's enough to, you know, your mama still had to buy your Sprite and your Polo and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But just in terms of being able to go to dances, discos was $3.
Right.
You know, $5 after 8 o'clock. So always had money to go to the dances and stuff like that. Not even with payback, you know, shows was $200. With the DJ getting $50, it wasn't any money in it. It was strictly the love. Like, the passion, I never told nobody ever in my life that I was gonna be nothing but a rapper. Like, never. There's nobody's people been knowing me for all of these 55 years, been to school with me 45 years, and I've never said I was going to be nothing else but a rapper. I knew I was going to be a rapper. I didn't know how big it was going to be. I didn't know if they was actually getting money in New York.
Yeah, right.
I saw Shantae on the video with Marley Marl, and she put a rabbit coat on. I figured she was getting something.
Right.
You know,
right.
But I didn't even conceive. I don't know if I thought I would just live with my mom and them forever and maybe make a couple of dollars doing rap. But hey, I'm a rapper. Like, I didn't know.
You just love.
But when you said you was gonna be a rapper, you knew like money would come from it, though, right?
I mean, well, I can't even say that because when I was saying that I was going to be a rapper, the first record we heard had came out in '79. And so it's like 82. Now it's 84. It's a new thing. And from your parents to your teachers to every grown-up around you that wasn't in music, they was like, what are you doing? This is not even going to last. They was saying,
they thought it was going to be a fade. They thought it was just something that just was...
Nobody thought.
Yeah,
now
nobody,
we are part of the biggest selling genre in music.
Right.
But when I got in it, people didn't think it would last 5 years. So, I don't know. I was just dreaming big. You know, the way kids now say, you know, I'm a rap. And they've seen
other
success.
People, of what rap can do.
They've seen the success of Mobo Joe with Rootless Juveniles. Mm-hmm. All of y'all at Big Boy. Mm-hmm. The artists at Cash Money.
Right.
You know, the artists at Take 4. People started seeing it's some money. And the younger kids hear records now that's 30 years and better. But we were children. So, you know, like when you're 14, you don't even think about, like, if you're going to have money to pay bills. You're not even thinking about rent because you live with your mama.
Right.
You know, but I knew it in my heart. You know how it's something, you know, like if you, the first girl you ever fell in love with, and you like, it's something about her.
Yeah,
like, she the one.
So,
that's
in the book.
Yeah.
That could be my wife.
That's going to be my wife.
That's in the book.
It's something that's in you.
Right.
So that's what it was for me with hip-hop. I didn't know how big it was going to be. I just knew that was supposed to be the job for me.
Right.
In my mind, in my heart.
But the labels that you had named just not like Take 4 and Cash Money and No Limit, like you was already in the mud. You was already doing your, because that one of them things they started what, like 90 something, 91, 92. No Limit and Cash Money.
Yeah. So P did start No Limit in 91, but I didn't know him. I didn't meet him until 94.
Yeah, he wasn't in New Orleans.
So did Baby and them. Did 91. You know, they had Kilo G, but. Yeah, I didn't meet P. P had a record store in California, and he started No Limit, but I didn't know him. It really and truly, C Murder used to come in Peaches all the time because I worked in Peaches Records. Right. And C Murder was here. He was in New Orleans. He didn't live in California, so it was C Murder saying, they got this girl. She put this record out. It was on a countdown for about 2 years.
Yeah.
You need to see this girl. And he went to Peaches on my off day, and my coworker sent him to my house. That was 94. But all before that, you know, I was just part of New Orleans hip hop scene and going like some of the first places I traveled outside of New Orleans was with Cash Money.
Cash Money?
Because they would get a school bus, and they had Kilo G was still alive, PMW, Lil Slim, UNLV, and they knew they had the formula to break records all through Louisiana then. And like I said, I wasn't with nobody. So I would go with them. Also, we on the West Bank. Shout out to my brother forever and ever, Joe Black.
Thanks.
He would bring me with him. And people like Mia X and Joe Black, we was like a tag team. He would bring me with him through other parts. He was a college guy, so we went to all of the college towns, and I was able to promote Payback like that. But, for the beginning with me, it was just moving around the best way I could.
What, Pete came to your house?
Yeah, he came to my house, and I was under the hairdryer. Remember, we used to all perform at the club Strawberries.
In Lafayette. Yeah.
I was going to Strawberries that night to a concert. I was going to see Scarface.
Oh, Bobby.
That's right. And P said, he was like, I know you don't know me, but I'm going to have the biggest record label in the world.
That's so true. Because when we went out there.
What's so true?
What she just saying about P, I think I told her, I think I even wrote about that in the book. When we went to Cali, because I knew Corey, so I that came through the same way. See, Murder was like, look, but my brother got a record label. He live out in Richmond. Won't y'all come out there? You wasn't out there yet, Mia, nor KL yet. So we go out there, and that's what P, the first thing he told us. He was like, say, bro, I'm going to be the biggest. I'm going to be bigger than Death Row. I'm going to be bigger than. I'm looking at him like, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? He gave me 99 Ways to Die. Check that out. Left us in a hotel or whatever, and then came back and got us in the studio. But that was what he said. This guy knew within himself, I'm going to be whatever. Yeah. Like he was already, it's almost like he already knew he was that person before he was that person.
Yeah.
Real talk. Because he was acting like it, and I'm looking like, man, this dude crazy.
Yeah, that's let me tell you this. Real talk. So it was something in his eyes that I believed him. So it was October when he came to my house. And then in December, Christmas, he called me. He said, you tripping on the holidays? And I said, no, not really. He said, because I want you to come to California. So picture, it was me, KL, Serve, and Soulja Slim. It was Soulja Slim first plane ride. He was Magnolia.
It was
Slim.
Magnolia Slim on that time, right?
So we went to Cali. I'll never forget.
This was in '94.
Yeah, we ate Christmas '94. We ate barbecue for Christmas, and after that, that's when he was telling me he was putting together Down South Hustlers,
right?
Because he had dropped West Coast Bad Boys, and we was selling that in Peaches. People that like West Coast music was coming to buy it. So he told me he was putting together Down South Hustlers. I went back home because I had 2 children. So after I was home, maybe it was May. Mm-hmm. May, he said, you need to move to California.
Got 2 children.
Who want to leave New Orleans?
Right.
And I wanted to bring my children. But so I had this really strong family unit. My mama and my grandma was like, we don't know nobody in California. You're not taking them children to California. That's not going to happen. My mama said, I understand this is your dream, and you've been doing this since you was a child. She was like, but you're going to have to come back and forth because your children can't go. Right. And so that's what I did. And that was really hard for me. I moved in an apartment with 3 men. Moby Dick, KLC, and Serve On. I only knew KLC. I didn't even know Serve,
Right.
And I moved in this apartment, and we worked day and night. I did some vocals on 99 Ways to Die for Pete. On the record, I wish they would have seen him before he died. That's the name of the record.
So y'all was up there already prior to us visiting, because he kind of already looked like he had a team. We just didn't know who all was involved.
Listen,
I knew KL was though.
We was he had a California team.
Okay.
Because like my first record that I dropped in '95 with P, Good Girl Going Bad, KL have 2 tracks on that album. Trey 8 have 2 tracks on that album, but the rest of that album was done by Al Eaton, who did Too Short's albums,
right.
and a guy named K. Lou, who did a whole bunch of
West Coast stuff, right.
But yeah, see, we had already went up there, and then what happened when we got back after Christmas, Slim went to jail.
Okay.
Then Slim came back up there when I was living up there, and Slim said, rumors was popping at the time, and Slim, he was doing all the concerts, and he was like, my money ain't up here. I'm going back home.
Right.
So then he went back home, but
yeah, because he had a name in the city, like
he really, really did, and he came based on the relationship with KL, doing a lot of his production, and,
right?
Because that's how I met Slim, going in the basement.
Parkway.
Yes. So it was something, but P, what I can say is when he told me that, I believed him.
How long it was till it was like, this is what he was talking about.
So by the time I moved up there in May, he got a distribution deal with Priority. So he was manifesting it already. And then he had a different type of hustle, like a different type of grind, like I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to drive to every state and hang up these No Limit posters. I'm going to every record store. I'm going to every radio station. The determination was unmatched. And so you kind of had to let him in.
No, right.
And that's pretty much what it was. But Payback did good, and I was working with a guy who's passed on too, Tavesta Scott. Tavesta had a relationship with Profile, and right before P, he came to me and he said,
he was looking on the deal for you.
I have a situation for you at Profile. So my mom was kind of scratching her head when I said, the dude that just left, he from California, I think I want to see what he doing.
Was Profile where Run DMC was first at? Profile?
I want to say they was.
I used to buy records and read them a lot.
Because it was like kind of the standard with Def Jam and everything.
Right.
But what I got scared about when Silky dropped the Sister, Profile distributed that, but then they didn't do anything else with her in the career. So I was like, I don't know. Profile might shelf me. I'm not even from New York or nothing.
Right.
Whereas this guy, I want to be a part of something. The conversation with him made me feel like Suzanne Dupass at Motown. I wanted to be a part of building something that was not.
Right.
Because
my heart going in
when
this.
we got together, the stuff that he was doing on the West Coast, he didn't do anymore. And he was more interested in building with people that was from home.
Right.
So I felt like I have an opportunity to be somewhere, that started from the ground. Profile was already a big old label with established artists, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I went with No Limit.
P.
Either one of them, like when it was like today when you sign, you get a lot of money right then and there. That's how it was back then too.
Well, we didn't have any money, like with No Limit, we didn't have like money like that. So.
You didn't have the budget yet. You know what I'm saying? Like they was with him before he even got with the deal.
I didn't get you was no such thing as a sign-in bonus.
What they say Pete get them when they sign them?
They call it with the package.
The package.
But that came like after, like once P was established, like like when they was talking about the house, the car, and people was getting Camaro.
You was with him in the making of that.
Yeah, she was in the beginning when like I'm telling you, like
right.
he had a vision, and she was a part. She started out with that
With
part
the
of
vision.
it. Everybody else was more part like once it was already kind of on. Mystical and all them Fiend, they came when P was
No
already
limit for
P.
life. When I got blood, sweat, and tears in there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm no limit for life.
Yes, it was like, I was there. You know, it was like it was me and C and Silk.
And Silk.
You know, it was like us and Big Ed. Was
And Mac, huh?
No, so Mac and Fiend came when I decided to do Unladylike. My thing with No Limit was it was a family label, but I felt as an MC that we needed MC.
Some spitters.
I was like, man, we need some spitters. So I had this guy calling my brother Corey Bush. I was talking, saying how much I liked Fiend because I sold a lot of his music in Peaches when he was with Big Boy. And of course, I loved Mac, who was Lil Mac.
Right.
He had
I
been
got
around
Wheels.
Manny and them since he was 11. He had already put out a record, I Need Wheels.
I Need Wheels, yeah.
But I knew as he grew, tag teaming with one of my favorite femcs, Too Storm, he was so lyrical, and he was part of, with Big Cheese and them, the Psycho Ward.
Yep.
I knew that they were spitters, and it was my luck that Corey Bush had a really good relationship with Fiend, and he was like, I know Ricky. I'm in Swagman. I'm shopping.
Throwback.
I tell him, by the time I finish making my groceries, you should be back.
Like that.
He go get Fiend, but I'm still making groceries. So I tell Fiend, hey, you know, I really like it. I like it from the first time Chuck brought him in Peaches. I say, I'm doing an album. I want you to be on it. So he was like, okay, but I'm pushing this basket. And I'm like, he better not say no. And I'm hoping he say yeah. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm like, well, if you don't have nothing to do, I'm working on my album and I'm going to Baton Rouge. When will you be able to go? He was like, right now. So I'm like, you know, Mac? He's like, yeah. So make my groceries. I go home, we put the groceries up, then we go to Mac. And I tell him the same thing. You know, I've always liked you. I want you to be on my album. So we get in the car, we go to Baton Rouge. While we driving, I'm telling them this. Y'all so good, Purse just got to hear y'all. Once he hear y'all, that's on y'all.
Oh, that's where the studio's in Baton Rouge?
Yeah,
That's when they had the
Right.
compound, huh?
So we get to Baton Rouge, and, you know, he did. He heard him. The talent couldn't be denied.
Right.
The next thing you know, they were
No Limit.
a part of No Limit. You know, and it was the same with Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel wanted me to get on one of their records when they was Double Vision.
Right. Before they got to No Limit.
Right. And we on the West Bank at Carlos Studio. Because I
Gretna.
think
Carlos
Carlos
Stevens.
did the which he was a Beats by the Pound member. Like, he was
Right.
one of the first
Yeah, no,
ones.
right,
You know.
yeah.
So I'm looking at the twins, and I'm sitting next to P, and I'm saying, they don't have no hard twins in the industry, period. Look at them. And he's scoping them out. You know, they was there with their people, and I was like, and they cute. The girls would like them. And P, like, I don't really know about them cute.
Cute,
but-
yeah.
I can't
but
co-sign
he
that
like,
one.
Can't co-sign that one.
he knowing they got something though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knowing they got something, and then he chopping it up with them. And Cain and Abel is at the label. They were at the label before Mac and Fiend.
Right,
you
right.
know. So yeah, what I was grateful for was, I live in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, and P had been gone for so long. He really did trust me to say, go listen to them and go holler at them to assemble the team that made hip-hop history.
Right.
Because prior to that, you know, he had artists from California, and TRU wasn't just him,
His-
Silk, and C. It was a few
group of
people.
other people,
Yeah,
right.
you know, and
You
they...
never heard of them then.
So
huh?
was you the
California
first
dudes?
lady, or did they have a girl before
No,
you?
because before me, P's wife, Sonia C, was doing rhymes with them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sonia C even have a tape out. By the
I
time
never
I
knew
got
that.
there, yeah, like Sonya C is 91, 92, 93 with P and them. By the time I got to No Limit, they had 3 kids. And she put more of her focus into being the backbone, his wife and the mother.
Real shit.
And so I came in and was
The spitter.
a lady, the lady rapper. And then, we ended up, it was 7 girls at No Limit,
Oh, so when toward the
Towards the end,
end?
right when No
Yeah, I had
Limit blew
Mercedes
up.
and-
Mercedes, Miss Peaches, Erica Fox was also a singer. Alexis was from the West Coast.
The red lady.
And then the girls, the twins, 2 for 1. But they came like later, like after Unladylike and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, for the beginning of No Limit, it was TRU, Master P, Sonya C.
And you say Serve was already up there when you went too, huh?
No,
Serve.
we all caught the plane together.
Serve too?
Yeah, because Serve, he from Third Ward.
Right.
So it was Serve, KL, me, and Magnolia Slim. We caught the plane to No Limit during that Christmas of '94. We caught the plane, and Serve and P, they were friends. I think since they were younger, they played basketball. They had a friendship, a relationship already established. I was the odd man out because I didn't know anybody, and I was the only person on No Limit from downtown till Mr. Magic came.
Right. From the 7 and the 9.
Yeah.
Right. When like the females rapping today, like what's the biggest difference from when you was rapping and spitting lyrical than the females coming out today? Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj.
Megan and Nicki is definitely spitters, though. They spitters. But, like with time...
Sexy Red, Glorilla.
So the thing is, with time, things change. For instance, MEANA, we are first generation Bounce.
Right.
Bounce was different. Bounce was gangster.
Gangster, right.
And
and
Bounce... So now the DJ has a lot to do with like how records are formatted. Meaning like the DJ know how to loop their voices.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up, so we had to beat all of that.
Right.
There was no such thing as you could just leave the studio and come back and the DJ then formatted.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, we didn't record. It was analog. It was tapes. Like you really had to one take it. You know what I'm saying? All that punching in and all that. That was like.
There was no such thing.
People was trying to do it, but it wasn't. They'd be like, do it again. Do it again. Like you had to like you say how you like to rap.
Right.
I won't go from beginning to end.
Right, mess up. You got to start all over.
I got to start all over.
Yeah,
Well, that's how it was. That's where we come from. That part of it. Yeah.
But then even the sound, because if you remember, with our first music, hip hop was still relatively new. So a lot of things that we rhymed against was old school instrumentals, even Bounce.
Right.
So now the cadence, the way they ride the beat, the way the beat sound is different from how we started. And what I like to do is give everybody an opportunity to get in their lane and run their lap. So the music that we have now is their lane and it's their lap that they running. And they talking about what mattered to them. Like we talked about what mattered to us. When I was a Bounce rapper, like Bros was really about taking care of their children. And we was on like a level of, I need to get me a house.
Right.
And I'm going to keep me a job. Because I worked at Peaches till Unladylike went gold.
Right.
We just felt a different way. But time has changed so much. Fashion has changed so much. People talk about different things. People have a different mindset. And as drugs infiltrated the community and guns and violence, it changed our mindset. We team no feelings now. And you hear that in the music.
Right.
Whereas we had
no
bad
feelings.
things going on. You know, I remember the 405 murders in New Orleans. I remember that.
Right.
But circumstances was still different.
94.
You know? Yes. 1994 was off the chain. But circumstances was still different. People still felt like, nah, you ain't going to kill him in front of his mama. Nah,
Right.
his mama and his grandma and them, they not about to get hit with no strays.
Right.
It was a little different. And so since the mindset changed, the music changed. Because we talk about what we experience. You know, like NWA opened the door for us to feel comfortable about talking about names we called people that was addicted. You know, it was strawberries and raspberries. They opened the door for us to identify with that gun is a Uzi. I remember when all them guns hit the streets of New Orleans. I remember when it went from somebody having a 38. I remember when the guns really was... And so I remember when the music got even more violent for us, and when we started disassociating for how we really supposed to treat each other. So where we at now is just a product of the way life has progressed.
So
deep, bro.
older people like yourself, it's not right to talk about the music that's out right now. Like music, like the people saying music is messing up the youth and all that. So you saying a person shouldn't be like that because we once did that ourselves.
Well, I know I did it.
So would you be a person? Because it's still like I'm older and I'm mature. So if I did it or not, I still got to tell you the right.
Yeah, now let me tell you, I have absolutely no problem with saying that sound reckless, and I promise you, when you hit 40, you gonna feel totally different. But instead of just condemning in a self-righteous way, I have to self-reflect. You know, I have to self-reflect that I said niggas ain't worth the blood on your Kotex. I have to self-reflect with the things that I've said. And I have to try to empathize with how some of these kids grew up. I remember when crack cocaine hit the community, and I remember parents who was together, who had jobs, who had clean houses. I remember seeing them fall off and start selling stuff out their house. I remember when the children was hungry and my mama and grandma would feed them. I remember them going from being loved and sheltered to being disregarded. And so we have a whole bunch of kids that was disregarded who then had kids.
Right.
And the cycle put us in this position of where the music at, because we imitate our atmosphere, children and people. So if all you came up with was a house full of dope fiends, you really ain't gonna care about nobody all the time. Sometimes you for the better and you be on the straight and narrow, arrow path. But then other times kids be like, ain't nobody give a fuck about my mama. I don't give a fuck about their mama. Nobody give a fuck about my baby, my little brothers. I don't give a fuck about them.
They become heartless.
That's right. That's what happened to music. And it's not so much that the music is the influence more than the environment. And then we had parents even like myself.
Right.
I wanted to give my children everything that I didn't have.
Right.
And it cost me to be away from them so that I could pay the bills. So a lot of times when it's like that, a lot of parents working 2 and 3 jobs. Well, the television
It's raising them.
starts to raise the children.
The games.
Yeah. And
Grand
that's
theft and all
so
that shit like that,
I don't
right.
like to just say it's only the music fault and it's only the rappers' fault without digging into the circumstances that these rappers came from.
Right.
Like I literally have partners that raise theyself. I have partners that mama chose a man over them and they was on their own living pillar to post before they was 15.
You're looking at it into depth.
So I always been a person, because of the type of person my mama was, I look at the whole picture and not a piece of it. And see, unfortunately, with like podcasts and blogs, we have shortened our attention span. So you wrote a book, and I wrote a book, and you was raised reading more than a paragraph. People act like it's torture to read more than a paragraph.
Right.
Or to listen to something that's longer than a minute. So now we got framed questions, sound bites. We have things like that. And then people just see that little part and add on to it. And we're not getting in depth to what's really going on. So that's why I don't know Sexy Red's story. I don't know her story. I don't know why her music is the way it is. I don't know her environment. I don't know anything about that. So before I talk down on her, I have to give her an opportunity to grow because I grew.
Right.
And me, I always look at it to this degree that it's got to be a collective consciousness, because if people didn't feel the way that this girl, the stuff she's saying in her rap, if collectively a group of people didn't feel that way, her music couldn't work.
Right.
They wouldn't buy it because they'll be like, what is she talking about? So collectively, they got to feel that way mentally, and she's only saying what's the environment or what she sees.
And it's being related.
Right, and it's being
how
related.
People feel about whatever it is they feeling about it.
Right.
But what I can say is, just like, remember, when I was 15 years old, and a lot of girls, like a lot of ladies that's 15, 16 now, you might like a little boy. You might like him so much that you ready to fight another little girl over this little boy. By the time you're a senior, he's not even a thought.
Right.
By the time you're 21, who? By the time you're 25, you and that same girl might be cool.
Right.
By the time you're 30,
Right.
oh, girl, I don't know what these children fighting over these boys for.
Yeah.
It's levels to life.
Right.
And we have to start doing it. And even with men, you know, some men then killed other little boys when they was little boys over little girls.
Right.
You know, due time, come home married to somebody else with children and grandchildren. So, as much as I do understand that certain things is problematic in music, on television, in movies, I do know that it's levels to life.
How you insert yourself into the music right now? Because you, like you said, you older and you careful about what you're saying, so it's making you rap a certain way that might not be relatable to the people who once was relatable to Mia X at the time she was spitting that shit. Because I heard you on Flyboy Giz, and it's like you wasn't talking about the stuff you were talking about back then.
I think I'ma always be relatable because I was in the middle of the street. I got a chance to see it, you know. I just know that when we get older, we mature, you know, life. And I don't want to encourage a fearlessness about the penitentiary and the cemetery no more. I do understand when we in our teens and our early 20s, you have no fear.
Right.
You know, some of the things I did growing up, my mama, she used to say, I'm scared, girl, you're going to get Uzi'd up.
Right.
And I would say to my mama, well, if I get killed or something, I just hope they shoot me in my head so I don't feel nothing. What the fuck? What?
Yeah, right. Just get it over with.
But now, in hindsight, that is nothing I would want another little girl to feel like.
Right.
Because if we blessed for life to life and we get older, you're going to stop thinking like that. It's like once we start having our own children and then having grandchildren.
Right.
You think about, I want to do everything I can to keep my babies and my grandbabies out the penitentiary. I want to do everything I can to keep them from battling addiction, you know.
Right.
So I know how to tell people stuff without sounding like I'm preaching.
Right.
Without sounding like I'm lame. And, you know.
You got it. You from the 7.
Yeah.
From the 7.
So
Right.
You know, you gotta know how to get that through. But and you don't like. I don't never want to be like, you know, she. Dang, so it's like she lame. But even when I did Giz record, I listened to what everybody else was doing. I ain't never been a rapper that did what everybody did.
Right.
Whatever you rapping about, that's you, because I got my own story. And what I was reflecting on was, like, when we at the DJ, when we at the second line, then the whole thing get all messed up because some people shooting. Now, you know where this boy been all week.
Yeah.
Don't bring it around
You
here.
done decided
Don't bring that
to
around
come
here.
where we at
Yeah.
and mess our
Mess
whole
our- yeah,
vibe up.
right.
These people at these second lines that spent thousands of dollars on their stuff. These Indians that spent tens of thousands of dollars on their suit. And here you come.
Right.
You done shot the whole thing up. It's over. You done ruin these people's day. You done kill some children that ain't got nothing. It's always the people ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It's hit. Now this person paralyzed. So that was my approach as to why I did what I did on Gear's thing, because I'm looking at the whole picture. Like, when we outside, we got to go outside and hope somebody don't mess it up. When we just people want to bring their children.
Don't kill the culture.
Yeah, we work all week. Everybody shy. Girls got their hair all done. Even me, the bald girls, we shined up. For real, you know, and it's like, now the whole thing over. We was all under the bridge vibing. Every ward, you know, they got the food. These people that spent thousands of dollars on this food, hoping they could resell it. You done shot the shit up. Not everything. It's just all. So that was why I did what I did.
That's the approach you took.
Because I'm looking at the whole thing of certain people who've been in a culture their whole life don't even want to go outside because they think they don't want to get hit by something, you know.
Right. I noticed that, like, it was from a more
mature level,
perspective. The level was watching. So when I did Unladylike, 7 of my girlfriends was murdered.
Right.
By the time I dropped Unladylike, 7 of my girlfriends was murdered. So on my Rest in Peace Jill song, I'm shouting out the other 6 girls that had been murdered. So I'm watching. I don't know what to say to her. They just killed her baby. I went to kindergarten with this girl, and now I got to go to a funeral and watch parts of her die because her baby in the casket. It come from that place for me now, because we all been there. You done lost partners. You done lost partners. You got partners who lost children. So now I be looking at it from that, because I've been blessed to keep life in. You know, keep growing up. But I do understand, like, when you 18 and stuff, you just be, oh, yeah, such and such died. And you just kind of, like, keep it moving.
It don't hit you the same.
But once you get your own babies, you get your grandbabies, your nieces and nephews, once you get that, and you know you don't want them to die. You know you don't want them to go to jail.
Don't want them to get strung out on no drugs.
So that's where it happened. But in the midst of it, when you're in the middle of the street, you know, just like with the introduction of crack, my dad used to be the weed man. My parents was dreads. My parents had dreads before anybody had dreads.
Before it was a fashion.
Yeah, way before. And they didn't have the kind that you put the gel and you twist it
do it on his own.
They was
do it on his own.
Natural life.
Rastas. But my daddy, you know, he was the weed man. And my cousin, I remember he came to my mom and he said that my daddy was putting rocks in the weed. They called it
lacing.
And I remember, like, my mom was educated, and my dad was always hardworking, and he was a breadwinner. Even though my mom was educated, he wanted her home with us, and he was the breadwinner. And I remember when things started falling off in our family. I remember one time my grandmother lived next door to us, and the orange extension cord was going through my grandmother's window to our window because we had no lights. I didn't know we didn't have any lights.
Living.
And so we find out, you know, my mom is fussing at my dad and everything. And I remember I said to my cousin, he was in the game and he was a big old dude. And I said, ain't y'all fussing about the people that be cooking y'all stuff? Because the people was addicts, and the people would kind of skim and steal.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and he was explaining to me about, that. And I said, well, can you teach me? Because I want to make some money because I feel like I have to help my mama.
Wow.
And so I remember being in that life, and then in turn, I met and had children with men that was in that life. And it wasn't because I wanted Bally's and stuff. When I met Warren, he was in a wheelchair because he had been in a beef and he got shot. Mm-hmm. And the guy I went to school with knew. He said, my friend, he wants your phone number.
Talking about Warren?
Yeah, Warren was sitting in a wheelchair. And I was like, the crippled boy? But I didn't want to not give my phone number to him. And he's looking the whole while trying to see what I'm going to say. I write my phone number down, and then my partner said, y'all want to go to Jeans and get something to eat, me and my friends? So we said, yeah.
So it was coming from rumors or something?
No, we was in a bar. We was in a bar on St. Claude in Ninth Ward.
Okay.
So we go to Jeans. Well, before we go to Jeans, we roll out, and then he hit the thing to pop his trunk, and he get up so they could put his wheelchair. And he said, how you thought I was crippled?
Nigga straight gangster. he in the streets heavy. When the people come, he taking
so
he
was. Then he told me, I got shot. Sometimes my leg hurts.
Oh, all right.
So when I have to go places in a long time, I'm in a wheelchair. So he liked me because I gave him my phone number, and I didn't know
that he wasn't in the wheelchair.
And
that was real.
So the thing with Warren was, the door got kicked in. He got busted. He had already put a record out. He had a record called "They Was Jealous," and it was about the police harassing him. And on the flip side of that record was the Ghetto Twins. They was the Devastating Twins. They had a record called "Let the Rhyme Go." Right. And this was 1988.
Damn, you going back.
So
you got the history.
So he go.
You said it wasn't even 5.
He get busted. So he have $1 million bond. They want a cash bond.
For Warren?
Yeah, it took him 30 days to raise that $1 million, and when he got out.
Hold on, they came up with $1 million?
What?
Facts.
Shit.
Did they? It took him 30 days. He sat in jail 30 days, and
boy.
when he came out of jail, he said he wanted to change his life. He wanted to focus more on the music because you start understanding that you really can't beat the people.
Yeah.
So we are going together. By this time, I'm pregnant, my second baby.
Your daughter?
My daughter. So he was saying he liked was it So Horny? With a lady going,
so horny.
So he wanted to use that part. And he used to be in his club. He had 2 clubs, Mark IV and Club 88. He would be in the club singing either to When I Hear Music, It Makes Me Dance, or to Too Short, I Ain't Tripping. He would be doing the You Make Me Nasty, You Make Me Want Some, and would be calling out people's signs. But he wanted to make this record, and he wanted to call it Get It Girl. So I wrote his 3 verses.
Right.
I didn't write the You Make Me Nasty. I didn't write the Is It Aries, Is It Taurus.
Yeah.
That was all him because that was something he used to do. He was always an original crowd rocker. But yeah, I did Get It Girl.
Right.
That was 1989. By 90, Atlantic wanted to put that out, but they wanted an album. So then I wrote Backing Out the Game, Gotta Be Real, and Stop Jocking to go on this album. And then I think Renee Ezel and Joe wrote the rest, because I want to say he had like 11 or 12 records on the album. But yeah, same way like I said when I talk about Soulja Slim.
Right.
I know people talk about the things they say he
was
did.
into, yeah.
I watch that on YouTube a lot, and people be saying the guys that actually ran with him, and I just be like, wow, because what I knew was me and him talking about books. and talking about songs.
So you looking at that like, man, nigga lying up.
No, I don't feel like
just that I don't know him like
it's
that.
It's just that, like, at the end of the day, I think people speak too much off of hearsay, and they run their mouth and go off a lot of what they heard other people say about people. And because I came up in a time where you need to know what you're talking about
to be talking
before you say anything about anybody.
So what she's saying there, you might know him and you saying stuff, but by him being his friend this much, you so far from the person he really was.
Right.
Even though you didn't heard all that shit you been hearing, you putting your little own woo on it, you so far away from this person.
But you know, look, it's not that I even want to take anything away from anybody who know you in another light. It's people that know you totally different from the young man I'm sitting here with. It's people that know MEANA totally different from how I know MEANA.
Right.
But if I'm ever asked to speak on MEANA, I can speak on everything that Partners in Crime brought to the game.
Right.
And I make this joke. I always say MEANA. When I think of UGK, because I knew them from when they were young too, but I would say, MEANA is like the Pimp C, because MEANA, what I do remember, he always spoke his mind, spoke up for the group, and I remember Kango really being more on the creative side. And I would always say Mr. MEANA is necessary because he's going to stand up and argue about what's fair for the group.
Oh, he been arguing.
Yeah, I've been arguing.
That's why y'all all the time with me. He been arguing.
But at the same time, it's people probably could tell you dangerous or other types of things about MEANA, but we didn't have that personal rapport. But it's not to take away from.
Right. It wouldn't be like somebody lying or whatever.
Yeah,
like, this is the way you know him.
If somebody say they've been in some real gangster stuff with Soulja Slim, Warren, whoever, I only know the stuff that I know based on what I was there and interacting with you on.
Right.
And so I only speak on what I know. I heard a lot of things. We all heard a lot of things, but I'm from an era where, I wouldn't be getting shanked in jail.
Right. I one of the old law.
Yeah. I'm not about to be saying, oh, yeah, he this, he that, he did that. And I hear a lot of that in today's time. People really go off of something and they like build a whole character off of like the hearsay. I choose not to do that. When
you know a person like that, do you agree with their punishment that they getting from the way the other people know, just what they've been convicted of? Far as let's see, murder Corey Miller, that's your real partner.
Yeah, well, Corey Miller is innocent.
Right.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be in jail. But I can only go off what I know.
Right.
So now, if the people then laid out all this evidence and they sentence how they sentence, the law is the law. But in my heart,
that's what I'm saying.
I'll always hold just what I know. And
I think that's fair.
You until you show me something else, I can only go by what I know. I can't call somebody a this or that, especially if I know them in a way. Now that's not to say people we don't know and all we see is the news and the evidence. We have to roll with that. But when we personally know people, you only know how you interact with somebody. And a lot of people that I've interacted with, I've heard real gangster stuff. Dodo for another one. Like, so all we talked about was music and how good.
Hold on, who you said?
Dodo. Tough guys.
How good we felt Mr. Marcello was.
Right.
Like Mr. Marcello, I think he writes really good. He's a great storyteller. And we used to talk about that. And we used to talk about what his plans was for Tough Guys. I had no idea, especially I'm in the 7th ward, so things that's going on uptown, I'm oblivious.
Yeah, they ain't getting to you.
I had no idea. You hear it now, even like when Marcelo's telling stories, and I'll be like, wow. And then I do come off like a lame, because here I go in the comments, he was such a nice guy.
Look at Mama Mia, man.
Yeah, and that's how it be like,
To me.
Yeah, to me.
But because I never knew none of the street stuff. Even the people that came around P, Randall and Levi, all them different people, they was nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't never hustle with them. I wasn't part of whatever they had going on. They didn't never talk, like now you hear people just freely talking about their business. Nobody never said nothing about me.
People brag about being who they are more.
I did not know that. So the person that you present to me and the person that you stay consistent as to me, that's all I know about you. Police can't shake me up, can't interrogate me. I only know
what I don't know.
I really don't know.
They gonna keep it real, but I don't know.
They did not come at me like listen, I just found out from Birdman, who I still call Baby, and P, who I call William. I just found out, because, I never had an issue with Cash Money.
Right.
Nobody
None of the artists did, huh?
I've known that
none of the artists
so
pretty
long.
much didn't.
But I just found out that the issue wasn't even them. I didn't never know that the Magnolia and the Calio had a beef so strong that went on for years. I never even knew that because I'm in the 7th Ward. I wasn't in the Magnolia. I wasn't in the Calio, even though I had family in the Magnolia and the Calio. But I didn't know that things was going on that would prohibit people from working together because things at sometimes got so hostile.
Right.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
They had to really break things down to me, explain. Even I gotta watch YouTube sometime to find out who some people said actually did something to other people. And I'd be like, really? Well, damn. How I didn't know, but my head was in my notebook. My mind was on my money and taking care of my children, and I was raised shit that don't have nothing to do with you. You stick your nose in it, it might get shot off. Right. So I didn't even know, and now things make so much sense, and I'm like, damn, you really was oblivious to a lot of things. When I finished my rhymes, my shows, I always went home to my children. So I wasn't moving around knowing this and that,
Wasn't hanging.
And people kind of thought I was based on having children and having a family.
Put them on the charger. Put them one that's on the side on the charger.
I had children and I have a family. And, so people think, you got to know because you this one and that one best cousin.
Right.
But no, I really mind my business because my grandmother was a gangster.
You be on YouTube a lot? You watch YouTube
so
a lot?
now I go and find, I'm looking on the YouTube and then they'll say, the day such and such died. And I'm like, oh, well, I remember on the news that he got killed.
But not knowing what happened,
But I never knew what happened. Then you click on and then you'd be like, what? Look, do you remember when I did the Q93 commercial? That was right after the payback when Mike Fox was at Q93.
You did the commercial?
It was the Mike Fox and Wild Wayne intro commercial. I did the intro for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I probably had to hear it. I can't remember it.
I did that intro in the Florida project, and the guy Trini recorded us. Trini used to make beats. Trini had
Trini with the good hair?
Yep. Trini used to make beats.
And he used to rap too a little.
Yeah, and he rap, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
So when I did the Q93 commercial, it's a part where Free My People come on in it. And I'm saying Q93's on the road, let that mixture roll. So then I want people bucking me up in the back. Oh, yeah. That was Damone and Paul Hardy.
What?
Were backing me up. And me and my partners, we used to go see The Faces of Death. It used to show at the lakeside. Mm-hmm. We used to go see that movie with them. You couldn't have paid me to believe that they would carry a gun or shoot anybody.
Right.
Because it was music. You couldn't have paid me that Trini would even know anybody.
Like that. Right.
Because we did music.
Right.
And so my life has been
Music.
entangled in hip hop. And my introduction to people is only
through
what they
hip-hop.
show me. I
Right.
never would be asking somebody, well, who is this and what they do? Because I always worried about being in somebody's business. And
Right.
in the 80s, people used to get killed for being in
Right,
people's
right,
business.
right.
So I'm
Or even inquiring a certain
Yeah,
kind of
like
way.
asking,
Right.
you-
What you asking
who's
about?
asking-
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you doing asking about my business?
hey, I don't want
Right.
nobody's business.
You be talking about a nigga and don't even know that's the nigga.
Yeah. Don't even
See,
know.
So I
Cheese
learned,
what?
yeah, you know that cheese right there.
Yeah. I learned to not be in nobody's business and to only judge people off of what happens every time I see them. You
It
know,
makes it you.
And like I say, I've been blessed because everybody that I've ever met, the same way I meet them is the same way we always are. You know, like that's just the honest to God truth. You know, I didn't I wasn't in the rap game to play like I was in the dope game.
Right. You wasn't. Right.
It wasn't that, you know. I had no caps in my raps, like this caps is lying.
You think that you get the flowers you deserve, or the recognition you deserve, or the respect you deserve as being the artist you are, and coming from all the things you've come from in the game and the parts that you play in the game? Do you think that you get your proper accolades as being who Mia X is?
The reason why I think I do is because I stay in the love. So instead of concentrating on who people think may hate or who I think may overlook me, I concentrate on who never overlooked me, who always support me, who have been through the different chapters in my life, music and books and food. So I kind of stay there because we talked about this early, how the body can survive everything. It's the mind you have to worry about. And so if you stay focused on who don't love you, who forget you. Now, sometimes I do call myself Cinderella when I'm laughing with my other friends that have more notoriety. And I think a lot of it have to do with coming from the South. We got overlooked a lot, you know. And sometimes when you're from the South, you become an afterthought. And not just the South, but like when you're not from Atlanta or you're not from Miami. Because that's been the two go-to places when we think of like what's big in the South. When you, how can you miss Cash Money and No Limit? How can you miss that when we talking about the building of the South? But I stay in the love, so I don't have it on my heart. Because a lot of people, when we don't stay in the love, it start coming out when we speaking. And when we're around people, you see the bitterness. You see when people feel forgotten. And that can cloud all the good stuff you got going on and the good stuff you did. So
going to do.
Yeah.
When you
stay in the love.
When you was in the
hold on, let me tell you this. Because you said, how could you overlook the Cash Money and No Limit? I won't get to that. Do you think New Orleans will ever get the ball like that again? It's so much talent in the city right now. Do you think New Orleans will never ever take control like that again?
You know, I think as long as there's people that have the drive that Slim and Baby and Percy has, because that's what it takes. It takes somebody that's not going to sleep, not going to take a bath,
right?
That's really going to be a foot soldier for their label. And it takes artists to not feel like, put me in a microwave and I'm cooked. It takes artists to understand the slow process and for it to register to them that music is timeless.
Right.
You're never too old to do music. Songs is never too old. As long as you have that, Betty Wright told me that God gave you the gift of song. You'll always be able to write a song. So for artists, you know, they have to understand that, okay, such and such blew faster than me. Instead of getting mad, I'm going to keep working. I'm gonna keep working. Before I got to No Limit, I sold everybody music in Peaches.
Right.
Payback did what it did, and then I watched artists come out like PNC, Jubilee, constantly put out these great bodies of work, and people was flooding in by the thousands to buy their music, and it didn't make me feel like, well, I ain't gonna do nothing because I have the gift of song. So we can't get distracted. And since we have these short attention spans now where nobody don't want to read past a paragraph, nobody don't want to read a book in its entirety, if you keep that mindset, the bitterness will always fuel the self-doubt, will always add to the procrastination. You got to get that mindset out. New Orleans is, I think, the most talented place on earth.
Right. Not fact. But to have that mindset at the bottom, like you saying, you can't have that mindset. But can a person have the mindset, or there's something right to feel like the people who have made it, to come back and get me, or to come back and get somebody?
Yeah, you can, because look, we watched those artists. We watched P. We watched Baby come back and get people, but it's always the mindset. It's like, when I come back to get you, don't think you immediately on.
Right.
And don't think the world is going to accept you the way they may have accepted this particular artist. Yeah, or you in New Orleans,
sense.
because it's a difference. Like, I was a local celebrity for a long, long time, and then I had to step out on a stage in like Spokane, Washington. They never knew me, and then Ohio and Indiana, I had to step out on a scene in places where they never heard me. And it's a reality check. Another reality check is like places like, let's say, the Essence Fest. So, you hot at home, but you don't realize that when you get to Essence, that's 70,000 people from everywhere. That's not just New Orleans.
Right.
That stage feels so big, and it feels so different from when you at, let's say, something where they got 2,000 people in New Orleans, and all these people know your words and everything. You gotta trust your process, and you can't be overly anxious. But the society we in right now have us feeling it just gotta go.
Happen.
Everything gotta happen.
Because if it don't happen like that, it might not happen. That's what they believe.
And that's not the truth.
That's what they believe.
Look, my daughter-in-law is Gladys Knight's hairstylist and makeup artist. And Gladys Knight is 80 years old on stage. That's proof that it ain't too late.
When you go around and like, yo, wait a minute.
You was working with, because I wanted to ask, because since you brought up Gladys Knight and how that feel, but the Charlie Wilson, like when that happened, I'm quite sure that had to be, something special to you, not only because of just being Charlie, but the family, like how your family feel about Charlie Wilson, and now here come Mia working with the guy that we love a certain kind of way,
What made it even bigger, not ever thinking that I will be working with Snoop Dogg. But not only I'm working with Snoop Dogg, I'm at his house making chicken and macaroni, and Charlie Wilson is there. And I get the opportunity to say, I get the opportunity to say the Gap Band was my mama's favorite.
That's what I'm talking about.
And like Yearning for Your Love, that was one of her favorite songs. And if I rewrite it, would you sing it? And he go, let's do it. And right then and there,
priceless
Craig
right there.
B get on the keys and we create What You Want to Do. And then Uncle Charlie says to me on video day, I got a surprise for you. He brought the whole Gap Band. And they in my video. So that's full circle when you think about, they said rap wasn't going to never be anything. And now I'm in here with the Gap Band.
Right.
And I got records with Snoop Dogg. I remember how impactful the Doggy Style record was.
Right.
I remember his introduction on Murder Was the Case. And 187 on an
Murder Case, Deep Cover on the movie, yeah.
So knowing that I'm in a shotgun house in the 7th Ward, and then I'm in a Lafitte project. And now, these people that I've saw on MTV and Video Soul and things like that, so I'm around them and I know them. And we got each other phone number, things like that.
Right.
That's full circle. But I also would like that to be an inspiration for young people that's constantly writing music and not thinking. One record can change your life.
Right.
Can change your circumstances, can change your area code, can change your zip code, can change your tax bracket.
But Mel, what the line need to be drawn at if any time necessary to it may not.
So I think that's gonna always be up to an individual. Like only you will know.
Can't do it.
I need to try to do something else.
I'll be on the outside looking at some of them. They be needing to try something else. Some of them, yeah, I'm just speaking for me. Some of them be needing to try something else. I'll be like, I don't see where this gonna go at. But I'm just speaking for me. Doing, go ahead, Mia. My bad.
Mia feel the way myself too. Me too.
Hey, I just gotta. Sometimes you need to, But go ahead.
Now let me say this though. I think all artists should really pay attention to what you're getting paid for in streaming.
Right.
And see monetarily if that's going to work for you. Because,
Yeah, we saw
PNC is blessed for the catalog that will have y'all doing hundreds of festivals
Forever.
For the rest
until
of the
you're ready for your AARP.
I'm almost
there.
Almost there.
Colon.
That's a blessing because you did get an opportunity to see some success prior to the entrance of streaming. We got a chance to see success when people was buying physical records. Now they're buying subscriptions, so that means an artist is only making like a half a cent on a dollar.
Yeah,
so
a point.
You got to ask yourself, is this streaming going to be enough for me to get an income, earn a living, invest, buy some things that I want?
Right.
That's got to be the deciding factor on how you proceed.
How you
in this
keep
business.
going, right? Yeah. Should you keep pushing for this or
because
dreaming?
Now, most of my income is like predominantly made off
what you made.
touring.
Right.
Because even the royalties is different from back in
from those.
Remember when them royalty checks used to be
big, huh?
open
Yeah, right.
What? Bought my mama a house, bought my mama a car,
Stop
bought
playing.
my grandma and grandpa a car, bought my sister a car. Help
We lit.
like lit. Well, I don't know unless it's close to 30, 40 million streams, 80 million streams, 1 billion streams.
Right.
If I could even see that type of money.
Right.
And a lot of people they buy things and it look rich. And then you have people on the outside looking in thinking, I need to do this so I could get that, so I could have that.
Yeah.
And it's not
Be a
even,
facade.
Yeah, you're taking trying to take the blueprint to another person's success when that's not even real.
Success.
It's an illusion. That ain't even real.
Yeah. Right.
So I want artists to live in a real world.
Right.
And it's always been hard for us, to make our work.
Right.
When you were saying I was going to Ohio and all these other places, that was with no limit at the now. Like,
yeah, that was because see, the thing about Master P, he always had success outside of Richmond, California, because I went to those places when 99 Ways to Die was out. And when the first True album was out that we had Bout It on. Bout It Part 2 came out on the Ice Cream Man. So I was traveling to those places where people was TRU fans.
Yeah, bought into them.
Yeah. And so I got introduced to places I had never been to because I was traveling when he would have shows, you know.
Make 'em say was already was out when you were saying I'm going to them places where people don't know me at. That was out.
No, I was by the time Make 'em say
I'm lit.
Everything was lit.
Yeah.
The whole No Limit was lit then.
That's your favorite. That you feel like that's your coldest verse ever?
no, because I don't like Make 'em say.
You don't like niggas say
That's something new.
If you say Mill X, boy, you know something from Mill X, nigga is rapping a few balls off of that.
Well, that because I think commercially that's like our most successful record.
That's probably why it's like that then, huh?
Yeah, I
Right.
think so. And it just off an album. I think the album was like 4 million or something like. So yeah, but I mean,
What's your favorite then? Your favorite?
um,
Oh, you feel like that was my coldest. I came through with this bitch, boy.
No Limit Soldier.
No Limit Soldier.
Yeah, because I got a chance to do like I did on Payback. I ain't
Rep-
have to
rep.
have 16 bars. KL just let the beat run and let me rap till I shut up.
Right.
You know, women, we like to talk. So,
Right.
yeah, I like No Limit Soldier. I like all of the records where we posseed up because it was everybody.
Right.
And we got a chance to be competitive. Because
Right.
that's what Posse Records is about.
Right.
Who got the coolest verse? And I didn't want to feel like since I was a girl
Right.
that you know, oh, it's the girl, so we should go talk about her cat. You
Yeah.
know, I'm like, no, I'm gonna bust their ass, pack a lunch
Right.
when you coming on
With that raw shit.
these beats with me
Right.
because I'm gonna do what I need to do to always represent for the ladies and to feel good as an MC. I wanted respect. I didn't care if people didn't think I was pretty.
Right,
I
right,
was
right.
fat. I knew I wasn't fine, but to some boys, they liked.
Oh, for sure.
So I had a
be
fan
that.
base. Look,
Yeah, it's be that.
let
for
me
sure.
tell you, I had a fan base. I had some guys that really, really, they checked for me. But more than anything, I wanted to be respected as an MC.
Yeah.
Still to this day,
Right,
like
right,
that's what I care about. I care about when I'm on stage or something that people feel I do what they expected me to do.
You think that helped you when it came down to the Sprite commercial with the five, what it was called, the
Five
five
Deadly
women or whatever, and they had Jewel, Mill, Roxana, Shantae,
Cool, Swiss, and Angie
right.
Martinez.
Yeah, Angie Martinez.
Angie Martinez.
Yeah, all y'all was on there or whatever, and you like, I'm like, I was so listen. That was a proud moment for me because when I saw it, I was like, come on, we knew these people because we knew New York was known as the Mecca of the whole nine. Then I'm like, oh, they got me on that. You know what I'm saying? So that was like big for you from the city. You're a female, and you was holding it down, and I was like, damn. So I always wanted to know how it happened and how you felt to be picked as one of those people to kind of do that and represent the South like you did. Because I think you was the only artist from the South on there.
I was so happy because, first of all, it's Sprite, and I had seen the Voltron commercial, a few of them.
Yeah.
Sprite commercials was always so dope. And so I remember Barbara saying, hey, Mia, they're going to do the women with Sprite, and you've been selected, and Swiss Beats is going to send a beat, and you get to pick somebody from the Pound to do a beat. And for a moment, just like
that's strong.
holding my breath, like, wait, I get to call my mama and tell her that I'm going to do a Sprite commercial.
Right.
I get to say that, and then being a fan. Roxanne Shantae is one of my favorite MCs. She's my sister, but she's definitely one of my favorite MCs. So I get to be on a record with Roxanne Shantae. Emil had done Can I Get Her, and that was a big record with
Jay-Z.
And I really liked her voice. Eve had started doing some things on
That was my
Rough
girl,
Riders,
right
Rough Riders, yeah.
anticipating
Yeah.
her album. Angie Martinez was a big old figure on the radio. Had knew all the Cool Keats work from the 80s. And Swiss was just killing the beats for everybody. So for me, I was just like, wow. So me? Are they sure?
Right.
Me?
All from my pen though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was so happy.
A girl out the Seven Wall.
Man, it just made me feel so good. And then, another thing, going to New York to record, and KL and Fiend was up there with me, and me and Shantae sat on the floor to write our parts, and me telling the guy that was part of the commercial, Reggie, I said, I'm ready. And he was like, you finished? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so you ready to go in and record? I'm like, yeah.
Right.
So I went in and recorded, and then when we all got together on the finale, Roxanne Shante is a freestyler. You don't want to battle her. She ain't going to get tired. She's a freestyler.
Let's break for the record. What is a freestyle?
So, well, it's different from not, then and now. Like, everything has changed. So the freestyle back then was just like
off the dome.
You rap.
You don't know nothing. You ain't got nothing.
You just finna,
That's
bust
a
it.
freestyle.
Straight off the dome.
You just finna bust it.
Right.
And so Shantae was really, really good
That's
at
hard
that.
to do.
So they said, y'all just, it's only gonna be like, I wanna say maybe a bar and a half or 2 bars. So it really didn't make no sense to write that.
Yeah.
Right.
So Eve kicked it off. Angie went behind her. Then me, then Emile, then Shantae. And we, as a collective, we just went in there and just did it. Fed off each other and did the posse rap.
Right.
That was like everything. I felt like I gained some lifelong friends.
Right.
And that we got a chance to do something as ladies from hip hop. Eve representing Philly, and me representing New Orleans.
Real talk.
Yeah, we got
The whole
the
boot.
Bronx, Queens, everybody just in there. We just doing it. So yeah, that was a big thing for me, and I was hoping to make New Orleans proud. See, everything I did with the music, I always wanted home to be proud of me, because being a girl in hip hop, men are always just celebrated more, and anything that men do is considered ooh-wee. And it's like cool when girls do stuff, but we've always been treated like it's just cool. So I always wanted to go the extra mile so that people would say, oh no, that's Mia, she from New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? And even honestly being from downtown, because most of the breakout records that came from a lot of people from uptown. And so it was important, and especially coming from the 7th Ward, because people used to have a tendency to think that the girls was just prissy and the boys was pretty. So I was like, they have no idea how savage
that 7 is.
Really is,
Put the 7 on the map,
Come
man.
on,
Let it
man.
be known, man. Stop
Ain't got
playing.
call hard head for nothing.
And that's what people have done.
Right.
For real, So I always did want New Orleans to be proud, and still to this day, even me doing food and books, everything I do, I consider New Orleans. Even the way I move, I never wanna move in a way that make New Orleans look crazy.
Right. Let's talk about that. Your cooking and your seasoning, and how you got into that, and what people can find that at.
So I always cooked all my life. I have a website, teamwhipthempots.com, and it's not them, it's dem, D-E-M, because that's where a lot of ladies
Teamwhipthempots.com.
So, I always cooked. I always cooked for journalists when they would come.
All right.
When other artists would come to collaborate at No Limit. When I was working on my album, and I would cook, so the producers didn't really have to leave to go get food breaks. I always cooked. My family, it's a long line of cooks. Our house, like Friday and Saturday, would be like a juke joint. They gambled, sold liquor, sold food. Started in the 40s all the way to 1992.
50-something years.
So,
Boy, you're good with your Mac. Go ahead.
my grandma,
Nigga stupid. Count money, my nigga. Been getting money for a long time. Yeah, you know me like this. You don't know me like, you know what I mean?
Go ahead, man.
my grandma, she was a gangster, and she used to just say stuff out her mouth that was just like, oh, wow. We would tell people, hey, we finna go by my grandma. She might curse.
Yeah,
all
she
of us
raw.
out.
Right, she raw.
And like, even if you think you about to get small, she could fight, she could shoot. She could chew gum with a razor in her mouth. Like, so just know everything go with however you feeling once she said it.
Yeah.
But she would tell us things, and I decided to write a cookbook. It was right when Katrina hit, and my grandmother had been dead for 4 years, and whenever I would reconnect with people, you know, especially like people that was at Priority or at No Limit, because I left No Limit in 99, and I didn't have a relationship, you know, with like P and them was still in they was in California, but we didn't talk like 15 straight years. So anything that happened after 99, I don't know. Like I wasn't at No Limit.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah, me either. I'm just new.
99. That's Team Summit.
Chopper.
That was the Team
We
Summit.
rolled tight whips, none of that. You wasn't around none of that.
I wasn't there, you know. So like, yeah, we didn't really reunite until 2015. I want to say in maybe we was
So no Romeo, none of that?
No, like by the time Rome got there and became like a big old star, you know, I wasn't there anymore. Like me and Beats by the Pound was going at the same time.
Okay.
You know.
Through a situation or just exit?
You know, lives and my parents in 99, they died 5 months apart. So that meant like my mom and my grandmother
coming on home.
kept the kids.
Right.
My kids were still very young, you know, and just trying to understand the business and the way things go. I was gone. So, you know, Katrina hit. My grandmother had been gone. Talking to people, reconnecting with people. You know, how y'all doing? Where y'all at? And then saying, yeah, well, you know, my grandma said if you kiss enough ass, your face will eventually smell like shit.
I hear that shit all the time. You used to hear that shit all the time.
Man, my grandma's always gonna kiss nobody ass.
Right.
Face will smell like shit. So my friend said, the things your grandmother have said over the years, I think you should write a book about it. But I couldn't write the book without incorporating food because she was known for that.
That was part of your whole history.
Known for saying things to people.
But known for cooking.
And always feeding you really good, you know, food for your mind and food for your belly.
Right.
So
That's dope. That's dope concept.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Cookbook memoir, and I really talked about, I've been in the kitchen with her since 75.
Right.
And her teaching me stuff. So did the book, took the book years to come out because writing a memoir and everybody dying and certain things that I went through in my life, you know, teen pregnancy and domestic abuse and just dealing with a whole lot of stuff. Sometimes I would have to take breaks where I couldn't even look at the book.
Right, because you got to relive some of the stuff when writing it.
Right.
That is hard. People don't understand that side of it, but it is.
Bed for months sometimes.
Right.
So, did the book. Now, fast forward to the pandemic. My grandma used to always say, you know, person gotta eat and they gotta live. So everything is shut down. Now, we had been on a roll with our tour. The No Limit reunion tour kicked off in 2019. And then everything is shut down. Your money, your everything is shut down. I'm teaching at Loyola. Everything is shut down. So the food, the stores, the shelves was empty. And I'm trying to see what is it can I do? And also, we losing so many people to COVID. So I'm like, okay, people got to eat. But we got this high blood pressure, this cholesterol, this diabetes. I need to start researching. So I'm researching herbs.
Man, that's how you whipped up the season?
Testing flavor.
That's dope.
That's dope.
So what?
I never knew that. But
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm
It's
just saying,
deep.
like,
It's
so
deep.
what can I do that still tastes good,
But
but
healthy.
it's low sodium? So I start the seasoning, having herbs and spices shipped to me. And my sister bought me a grinder, and I'm making crack. You know, I'm grinding all of this stuff. And so the seasoning was good. And then when I couldn't make seasoning anymore, because the orders got too big, I linked up with Gulf Coast blenders who had camellia red beans, and so gave them my flavor profile so that
And
they could create it in bulk for me.
Right.
But then also I'm thinking, so what can I do to feed people and have them food but on a healthier level? So then I created the 5 rice dishes.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to make brown rice delicious. Because nobody don't want to
Eat brown rice, but it's the healthiest.
Yeah, I hate brown rice.
So, and I think about how rice turns to sugar, people with diabetes. So brown rice got to be the key.
Right.
So I need to make these ingredients so that this rice is really good. So I make this tasty brown rice blend, this fire jambalaya blend. Then I think about how we love, especially in New Orleans, yellow rice, but all of the sicknesses that we have. So I decided to mix the rice blend. So the red rice is good for your blood.
I never even heard that
Black
of red
rice
rice.
is good for your skin. So I'm mixing.
Mix
the
like
red
putting it all in
and
one.
black.
Yeah.
And I turn the rice yellow with turmeric. And so I make wild yellow rice because there's different rice blends in it.
That's
So
dope.
did the rice blend. And from there, did a gumbo secret. I wanted girls to be able to get to a chocolate brown roux in less than 20 minutes because your arms get tired and one speck of black, you got to throw that shit out. You done burnt your roux.
Right.
So I did my gumbo secret. And then
You know about that, huh?
I'm thinking about, so everywhere I would go, people didn't understand that in New Orleans, we eat hot sausage. In Louisiana, they eat boudin.
Yeah.
But everywhere I would go, people would bring up boudin. Oh, you from New Orleans?
I don't fuck with no boudin.
That boudin.
Give me hot sausages, my
So
nigga.
check this out.
That's real.
I found out that boudin was like a lot of meats and pork
Rices and all
rice.
other shit.
So I was like, so how can I make boudin? People not really eating pork that much like that. So what can I do to make a boudin that's different? So I created a gumbo boudin, and instead of using a pork base, I decided to use a chicken hot sausage from Vaucresson. Vaucresson is our oldest sausage makers. They are in the 7th Ward. They are 125 years old. They make turkey hot sausage, chicken hot sausage, regular hot sausage. They are sausage makers. So I went to them and did a collaboration because I wanted to use their chicken hot sausage as a base in my boudin, along with okra, shrimp, and other things
That's
that make
dope.
gumbo good. So I created a gumbo boudin that you can get at Vaucresson. But so food was everything. I wanted to introduce a delicious but healthier approach because even young people now are being plagued with high blood pressure, cholesterol.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Because it's in way more stuff than it once
and then,
was.
Then we having the processed food has so many
Yeah.
different chemicals.
Right.
So just trying to figure out a way to take us back to basics because when we were young, we didn't really eat fast food and stuff, and we really was picking peas and greens, and we was doing things like that. So to kind of bring it back to basics and hoping that I could establish a rapport between parents and their children, because my grandmother would have us cutting up seasoning, but then she finding out any little girls mad with you at
All
school.
your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What little boy you like? Even down to me, when I got pregnant, I'm trying to hide from her.
Right.
And then when I finally had to face her, she said, I told you it was going to happen. You sold me out for a piece of dick. Huh? but when you're cooking with your children, it's a relaxed environment.
And you're bonding.
Good smells.
You're bonding.
And you're
Right.
finding out. And so it helps the parent not just be hit with a shocker if they see like a gang fight, since everybody's taping these fights, and you can kind of like get ahead of some things.
Right.
And you can do it through food. So that was my whole reason for starting 14 years ago, Team Whip Them Pots.
Right.
And Team Whip Them Pots is a cooking squad. I just ask people when you cook, hashtag it Team Whip Them Pots. And I would tell them, like when you're in the kitchen, bring your kids in there,
Right.
especially boys. Boys know how to cook. Boys are really patient when it comes to like getting in the kitchen. And you can find out, well, which one of your friends smoke? Well, people popping pills. Now, what y'all heard about it? You find out the music, like the part of hip hop, trippy, and like they.
Yeah, trip out.
Yeah, not really that.
Trip out.
Can I just tell you, I really like that record. That record is.
I like it too. It be jamming.
But no, I'm talking about when I was at Loyola. The young people in my class, they told me that they listened to trippy music, and I didn't. It was kind of like
acid music or something.
It's like some kind of hip hop. And it's like a different vibe. But when you're cooking with your kids, you can find out what different things is. It's it's subcultures inside of the culture of hip hop, and you got to kind of be honest. So I wanted people to cook with their children, their nieces, their nephews, their grandchildren. Find out who you're beefing with, who you like, who else like them. Is it a problem between y'all?
It's a good bonding time.
You're feeling like you want to have sex. You think I need to put you on some type of contraceptive. It's a way of doing it without. You better not be messing with them little boys, and I heard your ass, and you wild
schooling.
Yeah, so
she jumping out the window. You ain't doing it right.
Yes.
That's the truth, though. They said she jumping out the window.
The thing is, food. The kitchen is the heartbeat of the home, and food bonds people.
People do a lot of shit like that.
You might not even like somebody, but y'all like the same. You might say, I ain't never liked this dude in my life, but then he might say, yeah, because I got to put ketchup on my potato chips. I do that too. It's just different ways like that. And so that's what I wanted people to do. And we are the food culture of the world in New Orleans. And we have to get back to that and not just feeling like we run into every little store to feed our children. And it's cheaper. It's healthier. It's cleaner. You washed your hands. My grandmother used to say, we couldn't eat.
You don't know what them people. You don't know what them people. You don't know.
Scratch their head. She used to say things like that.
Right. She'll make you don't want to eat from a motherfucker.
What's in the corners? The trash all in the corners. Saying things like that. But I want our ladies, especially, to get back to that, and that's why I'm proud when I see, we got a lot of artists that cook and have restaurants and sell food. I like to see that, and I want them to bring their kids into it so that we can build these things generationally.
Cultivate that,
because we are so special here, all over the world.
Right.
Our people are special, but I'm home and for home.
What's the most special thing about New Orleans to the outside? You think it's the food? I'm asking. That's why I'm asking.
So the thing that grabs them first is the food and the tourist attractions.
Hospitality.
But I think when they get here and meet the people, so bad as our nerves is and all of that, we still like the nicest people you'll ever meet. We offer you something to eat. Invite you and make you feel welcome just because you from somewhere else. We're not about to size you up like you don't belong.
Unless you turn it up. We're going to overturn up. That's the thing.
Now, if you open the can of ass whipping, then the ass whipping going to jump out the can. But for the most part, the people are very, very nice.
For real.
So I really feel like we got to take our culture back and have a stronghold on it, and we have to care about it the way our people did.
Right.
Our mothers and fathers and grandparents, aunts and uncles. It have to mean something, and we can't let the stories of our culture get lost in a shuffle, because a lot of times we're not talking enough to the youngsters, and they will sit down and listen if you run some stuff to them. Something as simple as, I remember po' boys was this big and $3. What? That opens up a whole dialogue, you know. And then you find out about people that you think is lame or you think is prissy. You find out
they ratchet as much.
She need a podcast.
Might have bust her ass. No, I'm just saying they might bust her ass. You talk that. You talk that real. You talk that shit. But finding it out, you got uncles that you think just is so shy, and you don't know that in the '60s ain't nobody play with him.
Right.
Hey, that's real, bro. My mama just told me that my uncle was facing 40 years for this. And I'm like, what?
Hello.
Boy, I had to Nova work out and do the greens in the backyard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh no, that boy ran the whole woo right here. I'm like, Eric.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
So that's
don't know.
That's important, and so we can't let our family history get lost in a shuffle because then we lose our culture, we lose who we are, and then our children don't know who we are. You know, that was one of the things when my son was rapping. He was like, Mama, you know, I know we had to come to Texas, but I don't talk like Texas people, and I don't want to make my raps like just because of where I'm living. I was raised on Cash Money, you know, UNLV and Six Shot and all these people.
And Slim.
And he's like, Mama. Slim gave him his first $100 bill.
Right. Yeah, I heard him say that.
Look.
I ain't never knew that, but I just see
Slim in him.
Yeah, influence.
He used to put Sean in the car and ride him around and telling Sean, don't love him, stay above him, all kind of stuff like about girls. I'm like, don't tell him that, he's 10. You know? But his influences, he was like, well, no, this is who inspired me, the people from home, the sound of home. I mean,
he was around it, though. You had him around people that other people looked at like, Lord, that's Soulja Slim, that's Snoop Dogg, that's, you know, of course, you know, he around it. Like, you know, my mama is.
Yeah. But then he still got a chance to like the people that he liked, you know, like just their music. He was a fan of like the stuff that they were saying and the way they rhyme pattern and all of that, you know. But it goes back to how special our culture is, you know, how special our sound is.
Right.
We don't have to emulate anybody because this homegrown that we got is second to none, you know.
Right.
And so we don't have to try to whoever is hot just sound like them or make a song
to be hot.
Because that's not how we did it. You know, listen, remember, Where They At, Tucker's version, didn't sound like Where They At, Jimmy's version.
Right.
Pimp Daddy didn't sound like Bounce Baby Bounce.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, they did it their own way.
Everybody had their own way. You know, Payback didn't sound like the Sister.
Right.
You know, it didn't sound like Eat the Cat either. We all had our lanes and our vibes, and it's important for you as an artist to stay true to yourself.
Right. Have authentic.
Ride that beat how you ride it.
Right, to be authentic.
And really in everything.
Yeah. Everything. Right. Just in life, you know, I know a lot of times I do seem like the eyeball, you know, based on how I was raised and how I approach and interact with people, because I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I don't walk in a place and feel like, you know, well, I'm Mia X and everybody need to speak to me. And I never felt that way. Like, I never felt intimidation and jealousy, because my grandma used to say, what's for you is for you and nobody else, and what's for them is for them and nobody else.
I believe that.
I never feel like I have nothing to prove to nobody. I know when that beat drop, I'ma show my ass every time. Right. And it's not to take away from what nobody else doing.
You're just doing the best of my ability.
You know, you got to be the best you could be. That's all, and nobody else. So that's what it has been with me. So a lot of times people be like, you know, oh, she's just so nice, you know, and I think she's too nice. Actually, I'm not. I understand that you give people the greeting of the day. Right. And you're supposed to treat people how they treat you. And it doesn't mean that you're just super nice or you're soft or anything. Please don't confuse that with anything that gets you hurt.
Yeah, because you're real raw.
Don't do that.
You're talking that G shit all the way.
You know, I'm just saying. But
real life, nice don't mean soft.
Yeah, it don't mean soft. Don't get it confused.
Get that confused. They think nice is soft.
Soft spoken.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, they'll really think you.
I'm gonna lose every fuss with the voice. Then even with a lot of ladies, you know, I've seen a lot of ladies have to really like wash abroad dishes because she thought just because she was pretty,
she was something
that she was afraid, and it's not that, you know. So my approach to people will never be, you know, I'm the meanest bitch in here. I'm finna curse everybody out. I'm finna bitches and hoes. Even when I'm dealing with the young ladies, I'm not gonna you bitch and you hoe. I'm not gonna talk down to them because I see potential in everybody. And the only time you'll get disrespect is if I feel disrespect. But I know when you come a certain way, people receive you totally different, and they don't feel like they gotta put their guards up or, you know, be ready to fight you. I don't want people to feel that way about me because I don't want to go to the penitentiary. I'm a control freak. I don't want to be told
what to do, when to do.
I'm a control freak. So that means I have to be responsible for my emotions because I'm a control freak.
Right. I don't want to lose control.
No.
Over myself, over everything around me.
And then you didn't won because now you didn't put me
Right.
in the penitentiary. You didn't took 4 or 5 streams of income from me.
All my control.
I don't. I hate to see the ladies, like beefing, and I hate to see some of them feel like they have to put on a certain persona so that nobody fools with them. Like, I just think that it's important for us to be ourselves, and when the beat drop, show your ass.
Right.
If it's what you want to do, don't give up on your dreams. Go hard for yourself, and you could be the shit without shitting on nobody.
Right.
Period. I don't feel I gotta shit on people.
Right.
I don't feel I have to say that MEANA and them good, but like they shoulda and they woulda. Like,
right.
My coulda, woulda, shouldas
that
ain't gonna put a dollar in your pocket.
I don't live off it,
or
right.
a dollar in my pocket. So I don't feel like the narrative should be, in order for me to be great, I have to put these other ladies down before or after me. I don't feel that I have to do that. And I think when you want longevity, when you can sit down and say, hey, I still work and get top dollar, 33 years later, I ain't shit on nobody. And I don't have to compare myself to nobody.
That's one thing about you. I've never heard that type of smut on your name. Like, throughout my whole career of doing music, I never heard anything like what Mia said, that your name was never in no mess. And this is a messy industry we in. People backbite, lie, all kind of stuff. Yeah, backbite, that's an old word. People do it. Stab you in the back, talk about you, and we never really, I never heard that with your name.
You been through that, though?
Let me just tell you this. So your character is your paper trail.
Thanks.
It's your paper trail.
Your name,
right.
Your brand.
Yeah, your name, right.
Even if somebody tried to shit on my name, I'm 54 years old. I've been in the game since March 17th, 1984. I got my paper trail.
Right.
Even if somebody throw dirt on my name, I got my paper trail.
Right.
So, no, first of all, I'm from an era where, like I said, talking people business and talking about people and all of that kind of stuff gets you hurt. If I can't do nothing to help you, then I got to get out your way so you could help yourself or get somebody else to help you. Why hurt you? What's that going to do for me? Where's going to make money for me?
Right.
How is going to build my savings up? I'm already, shit, in 20 years, I'm going to be 74 years old. Right. So I always felt like that, even as a young girl, like, well, I ain't got to hate on her or be mad at her or not like her, because I always felt like, okay, if it's this music shit, when I approach the beat, it's going to be in the Mia way.
Right.
When it's food, when I do my recipe, it's the Mia way. Some people might like it, and some people might not. Everything ain't for everybody, and you gotta also expect and understand that some people just not gonna like you. Some people don't like Mia X. I mean, they don't like me.
But they don't even have a reason. But
remember when DMX said it first? You don't like the way I don't like the way you look, the way
I
you
like to talk when you're talking about drink.
Okay. But some people is gonna feel that way about you, and you gotta understand that you're not gonna please everybody.
No, where's love is hate.
Yeah, and it go like you're right and you're left. Right. So I don't want to subscribe, and it come from having family in the movement.
Right.
My mama was pro-black all the time. So even when you wanted to say something about niggas and how niggas make you feel, she always had a comeback as to why the circumstances with black people was the way they was. So it was hard for me to just be on hate trains, because my mama was going to check you. Like my sister checked me. A long time ago, I was talking about names. When you name your baby, you hook all the names together, or when you take a car or this or that. And I remember I said, well, my friend, they named her grandbaby Mercedes because the daddy
Always
got the big old, he had the big Mercedes truck.
G-Wagon.
And I say, so what you think about that? And my sister said, well, Mercedes is German for flower. So I'm quite sure when they saw the baby, it was the most beautiful flower they ever saw.
That's dope because they logo is almost concept like a flower. Like I never even paid attention to that, but
see,
that's
my sister's so
crazy.
well read and studied. So the moment you get ready to say what you perceive as ghetto or whatever, my mom and my sister would always put you in your place. So when you raised like that, I don't really have I don't come in with it in my heart to be like, oh, because we ghetto and we this and we that and we trash. My mama never let me feel like black people was trash.
Right.
Never made me feel like we wasn't worthy. So I took that with me. Even with shit I didn't listen because I was on my knucklehead shit, you know. I was 17. I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I was on my knucklehead shit. But the stuff that you really give your kids and never leave. So the way I interact with people have a lot to do with my upbringing.
That's what I was about to say. They got a lot to do with people upbringing. But Meg, you're a person that I'm a fan of. Now I really sincerely appreciate you coming here. I can stay here all day and just talk this shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. So this is my last question before I give you the last thing. When you were saying that I don't be saying this meal X when I walk in the spot, but from you not saying that to going to the clubs before you was anybody, like going to James, rapping on the pool table and all that shit. What's the difference of that? They know who I am to when you was rapping on the pool table in James.
Some people still don't know who I am. You know, so, I mean, that's the truth. Just because I'm from New Orleans and New Orleans know. And yeah, I sold records on 5 continents. We're not talking about America.
Let's talk it.
I sold records on 5 continents. But you're going to go places where people not going to know you.
No, from the aspect of the people thinking they don't got to grind. They don't got to go through them small. Like you on the stage, like you say, I'm torn with Master P. No Little Reunion, 70,000. But you was in James, though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And look at here. If James was open and I went in there and the spirit hit me, I would still be on the mic in James.
Right.
Because look, what people have to understand, you see our small clubs? That's your base.
That make us.
That's forever your base.
Right.
That's forever your base. So let's say the first time you came out, you only sold 5,000 copies. And let's say that was 20 years ago. But let's say in the last 20 years, worldwide, you done sold 5 million copies. The first 5,000 is the people that's gonna always support no matter what you got.
They was the beginner.
That's your base.
They bought it, yeah.
Never lose sight of that. It's your base. So if you rocking the Hideaway, you rocking wherever you rocking, any little ball, know that that's your base. And yes, you might wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden you didn't hit 1 million streams somewhere. But never forget, them first places is your base.
Me, I've been living off the base for 30 years.
Come on, you better say it again.
Because we never was a national group like that. So, but we've been working for 30-something years in this business, and we active. We work damn near every weekend, multiple shows, and it's the same. Like you just said, it's that base.
It's your base, but check this out. You may not have gotten national distribution, but y'all are national recording artists because y'all records are everywhere I've been. I've heard Pump the Party, and I've been everywhere.
Gotta know that.
So you are national, and that's what, I don't like a lot of artists that's still home to get in their feelings, maybe because they didn't get national distribution. Baby, y'all records been played.
Spread, because people become the national distribution. Man. People come here that go to Xavier, take the music from Xavier, go back to Chicago.
Thank you.
So that's be your distribution. Those people,
and
word them out. Word them out.
Shows in all these different places.
Right.
You are a national
artist. That's the best
artist.
promotion. Word them out.
Right.
Yeah, you are.
Mobile
You're a
billboards.
national artist. You know, like, but we can't forget our base.
Right.
And
That's big.
And ain't nothing wrong with being a little cocky, sometimes a little arrogant. You know, people like that, but you can't overdo it because you can't lose sight of what it is. And your base is the people that love you. As long as you have the gift of song, you're never too old to make music. You don't have to keep up with whatever trend is going on because your base started fooling with you based on you.
Right,
so
right.
always when you making music, think about your base and think about this. Okay, we grew up. You know, I remember.
Your base
what
grew
y'all
with
was
you.
like, 19?
Right.
Yeah, I was 19. King was 15.
So y'all were teenagers.
Right.
Now think about it now. You're a grown man, a married man,
Right.
property owner.
Right.
A lot of people that's still alive, so are they.
Right.
And so you have to think about that and grow with your base. If you don't grow up, if you still on a mentality of
Right.
certain things, it's some dude's gonna be like, nah, man, I've been working offshore 25
Right.
years. I don't want to go bust a brain and
Right.
go to jail. And me and my wife finna go on a cruise.
Yeah, it'd be a whole nother mindset, right?
Make sure
You grow
that
with your
you
base.
Keep this growing, and make the base. Some of the people that you might feel is stuck, make them understand it's okay. We supposed to water and we supposed to grow. It's okay. No, you not lame because you free.
Right.
You know, think of all the people we know that gave life back.
You say you're not lame because you free. I like
Yeah,
that.
look, think of all the people that gave life back. Think of all the people that, like you told me, you got a job. Think of all the people that did time for real serious shit and you watch them change their life. You watch them go from having felonies to LLCs and corporations, getting degrees. Think about all of that. We supposed to grow. Like, man, if you stay stuck, you're going to be stuck on the stupid button.
Right.
So, you know.
Like I say, man, I appreciate
Yeah,
it. Is
I love
it
it.
anything that
That's
you,
why we
you
call
wanna
her
say
mama.
that we
let's
didn't
go back to
discuss
the beginning to
before
the
we get
end
out of
before
here?
you get out of here. I gotta say this. That's why we call her mama. Because you see the nourishing, you see how she, you know what I'm saying, gave us all that good.
We
Yeah,
supposed to be
you know.
interviewing her. She opened it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. God, we feel some kind of way. But yeah, that's the mother of it. That's why she's Mama Mia. That's why she's the biggest mama. But go ahead, you know.
That's what it
you
is.
Know, look,
Let the
I
people know where to
definitely
follow
love
you
my
at.
people. So you know you can follow me on Instagram, the Mama Mia X,